Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the one and only Midnight Therapy. I'm your host, Kat Matthews. We are back from the 4th of July weekend. I hope all of you had a good one, had a good 4th, celebrated Independence Day, the most American holiday, that's out there. Hopefully everybody was safe with the fireworks and all that. I didn't do any of the fireworks this year. Just didn't have the energy, you know. Didn't want to spend any money, but I did have a hot dog. And I know that that's on the checklist of, the 4th. You got to do the fireworks and the hot dog and maybe a burger, and drink a beer. Those are the things that you have to do. I did a few. Got a lot of flack at a few parties I was at. I'm going to share it with you because I don't mind putting myself out there and believing things against the norm. I don't like being a copycat just cause. But this one got me in trouble. Got me in some hot water, no pun intended. But I think I prefer a boiled hot dog over a grilled hot dog. Please don't crucify me. But I think a boiled hot dog is kind of better. And when I shared that, some people were going to call the cops on me. I don't know, or try to hurt me or fight me. I don't know. Is that big of a deal? Do you ever have a boiled hot dog? It's not terrible. I know all the hot dog water jokes and all that, but I feel like it, kind of cooks it more evenly. It doesn't wrinkle it up. I don't know if you care about texture. I had this debate a million times with pasta. It all tastes the same, but the texture is different. But who really cares? Like if you were to mush it up in a blender, rigatoni or tortellini or whatever, I don't know, the spirals or the angel hair or the noodles or the linguine. You put that in a blender and drink it, it all tastes the same. Now, it's a bad example, but you get what I'm saying. The texture matters, but a wrinkly hot dog, not the best. A burnt wrinkly hot dog, I just don't think the best. I'm sorry. But a boiled hot dog, it doesn't wrinkle, and it's just cooked thoroughly. The skin's not gonna come off. Mustard goes great on it. It doesn't leave a black tar residue on your bun when it's boiled. I don't know. Leave your comments below. What a good way to kick off the episode, though. Boiled hot dog's not that bad. Not as bad as people think. No reason to call somebody a communist or un-American if they like a boiled hot dog. Things change. Bud Light used to be American. It's not anymore. Maybe boiled hot dogs will come back. I don't know. What does Nathan's do for the contest? They can't be grilling them. They're probably boiling them. You're going to call those people un-American. Anywho, had a good weekend. Lots of barbecuing. We had some shish kebabs. They were fun to make, fun to eat, fun to play with, not to eat, like Play-Doh. Saw some fireworks, was at the pool a lot, relaxed, had some beverages. Good 4th. Had a good 4th. I've been having a good time lately. I know the last few episodes are very doom and gloom, but life's been pretty good. I think life is good for all of us. One day I will do just an overall positivity philosophy episode. It's not going to be today. Today's going to be a short one. Just, a little recap about current events going on with me, my life events. We did enough for the politics and enough for the doom and gloom, so we're going to take a little break. Not too long. But life's not too bad. America, it's uncertain where we're heading, but I hope everybody enjoyed their 4th and just remembered what this is all about the freedom and the opportunity and the ability to enjoy a boiled or grilled hot dog with your family and friends that believe all sorts of different things. And one day a year, you can get together and say, thank God we have a country that allows us to think these opinions, no matter how stupid they are. Just let that sink in. I hope everybody did that and enjoyed their time. The only little thing is I did watch the post debate, that everybody's coming at Biden, kind of like I did. If you watched the last episode, I was saying that he's probably going to step down. A lot of people actually believe that opinion, like I did, like that I said, which is nice. Usually I'm never right, but they are saying that, and then they saved him with that George Snuffleupagus interview. If you know George Snuffleupagus, he's usually quite left leaning, but he was pretty hard on Biden. A little rough on him if you watch that interview. I caught it. It was quick. Watch it in like 20 minutes. He kept doing like, he's like, so people don't think you could run the country, can you? And Biden's like, yes. And he's like, are you sure? Like Snuffleupagus was like, are you sure? I don't know. He was like calling him out on the questions. He was like, a lot of people are worried about your age, and Biden's like, no, they're not. And he's like, yeah, they are, including me. But anyways, and he's a little rough on him. Biden had the Trump exact color spray tan on. If you noticed, it was like Trump orange bronzer they put him with, which is weird. It's like a popular girl in high school, and the other girl changes her hair, and then they're like copying the hairstyle the next day. I don't know. It was a little weird. Like, get me Trump's bronzer. I want to try it. If Biden comes out with orange or yellow hair, it's over. If he starts dyeing it yellow, like blonde, it's over, just so you know. Anyways, that's all I'm going to do politics today. I just don't want to. I don't have it I don't have the energy to do it anymore. I need a break. Taking a break. Still on that 4th of July wave. We got Uncle Sam back because why not? Let America be the theme forever if it has to be. We're going to keep bringing Uncle Sam back, until the other holidays, until it's fitting. Till it's fitting. But summer is here. They say the old teaching thing when I was teaching is, like I said before, once the 4th hits, it's over. The summer flies by. I'm not worried about that at all. Not going to bother me. I'm doing some really cool projects back in the studio, in the recording studio, with a new song coming out. Very happy about that. Please keep an eye out for that. This is going to be a winner. I'm telling you, and I say that every time. And they've been like kind of winners, but I'm still poor. So nothing too crazy, but has happened yet. But I don't know. I feel something about this one. It's going to be a good one. I'm back in the studio with my great friend Matt. Shout out to him. He is the best at what he does. It feels really good to be back in the studio, at least for me. I get very excited. The music has saved me, not to get all crazy here, saved me from some depression I had. And it truly only went away when I started doing music. It was such a great creative release for me. I used to have a double shot of Depresso every morning. And then slowly I weaned off. And now I don't have Depresso often to never. And I think it's just from some lifestyle changes and pursuing passions. That's the big one, pursuing a passion without getting any money in return or getting anything in return, doing something that's right for you or for anyone or for the universe or for morality and not expecting anything in return. That's integrity. And that is also good for the soul. And it will cure your depresso, in my opinion. And a little comedy. You got to laugh a little. Laugh at yourself because oftentimes you are the funniest person, in your own mind. So laugh at it. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself often. I do. And I'm sure you laugh at me as well. But I'm back in the studio. A little brief summary of the music career, I've been recording music, and we did this on the other episode, but I've been recording since like 2019, about 30 songs, 2 music videos, and now a podcast, Cat Matthews brand. And a lot of people don't understand what goes into that. Maybe another episode I'll break this down even more, but it is a lot of time and energy, and not a lot of money in return, and not a lot of recognition in return either. Um, the talent and the blood and the sweat and the tears, or whatever you want to say, it doesn't always get you there. Doesn't always get you there, no matter how hard you work. Sometimes you just don't get there. And that's why people get a little mad at the system. But it's not the system's fault. It's the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I have invented a decent brand. I'm Cat Matthews. I'm the Northeast Cowboy, the bad guy anyway, the Midnight Therapist. That's something, even if there's no money or no yacht. I enjoyed a crab cake this weekend. That's pretty big. You got to enjoy those. I don't often get to have crab cakes, as you know, but I went to this new place. Shout out to the Peanut Bar in Carbondale or Simpson, PA. Free shout out here. I was thoroughly impressed overall, and I usually never am impressed by anything or happy about any experience I have, other than like a few at a restaurant or especially a new restaurant. But this one blew me away. Everything was perfect. The vibe, the staff, the food, everything was 10. So if you're ever around Carbondale, Peanut Bar, check it out. Updated back patio, really good. Had the crab cake though, enjoyed life. Enjoy the crab cake. Remember, I always say that. Should put that on a shirt. If I did, would you buy it? Let me know in the comments. Enjoy the crab cake. Um, but yeah, I am seeing a trend now, and this is why I try not to be a sad person or a hater or an angry person, but I'm seeing this trend. I hope you're seeing it and understanding it a little. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about it. But country music, which is what I do, if you couldn't tell, country music is the new rock music. It is going through a renaissance era like rock did. You had rock, I would say 65 to like 90, 1965 to 1990. It was just like golden age of rock and roll. And you saw people become absolute stars, like world renowned stars. Huge. You knew everybody in the band. You had posters. It was crazy. I think country's hitting that. And country was never really that. Country was, it was Americana music. It was for the rural people to listen to. And it was, bluegrass, and it turned into singer songwriter stuff and folk. And that was kind of country, the Willie Nelsons and all that, and the Johnny Cash. And then it took on the next era, which I'm just going to jump. Sorry if I'm missing anybody because I'm not a country historian here. I think at the 90s era country, and that kind of changed the game. A really good era. People still like it today. And then you got like the crap country that came out. I'm just going to call it the crap country. It's when people started realizing the formula, like the secret Krabby Patty formula from SpongeBob of country. And if it worked 500 times, they think, well, I guess it'll work forever. And it does to a lot of people. And I don't have to go into this because you already know. And if you don't, I'll bring some attention to it. Same structure of a song, same, overall arrangement of the instruments. The song is about 3 minutes. You repeat the chorus 8 times, exaggerating, of course. And you sing about things, like you get a good hook, like a catchy hook, could be anything, but then you sing about things that are like, you have like a list. And you know the list: dirt road, blue jeans, small town girl, beer, fishing, boots, tobacco, partying, the boat, the mom and pop shop, and my tailgate down in my lifted truck. and a blue sky and a sunset and the night train. And you know those words show up in every song, and that's kind of like a problem. But we're not going to get into that. But then that took off into this era, and I think now it's finally hitting the unique era where it's so popular because they used a pop culture and a pop music tactic on country, which is that formula, earworm, catchy, very strategic formula. They took that approach on country, and now you're seeing everybody jump ship and going over to country because country is now taking its place at the top of the number one most popular genre. Um, all I'm saying is I feel like I saw this years ago. I saw this in 2019 when it wasn't nearly as popular as it is now. Country was not that popular then. Now it's insane. You have these powerhouses like you got the Morgan Wallen and the Luke Combs and even Jelly Roll and Lainey Wilson and these guys. They're going crazy. They're selling out arenas, um, getting brand deals. Like the rock star stuff. They're getting rock star stuff. And I don't know if that was ever the case before this modern era, but you're also seeing people from other genres come over. I don't have to tell you, the Beyonce and the Machine Gun Kelly and Post Malone and it's almost like too predictable. It's almost a little boring, when you already have that platform. And then it's like, well, let's go over to here. And then everyone, of course, there's already a fan is gonna follow you and freak out and download every song and play it on repeat. And it's, it is what it is. I'm just saying, I think I saw it early. Saw the writing on the wall early that country was going to do this, and I trying my best to even get a crumb of that cake. They're getting full cakes. I just want a crumb, like a little mouse getting a crumb. That's all I want. But what I realized and what's harder is, during COVID, we had all this time and I would do these albums and we had all the time in the world to do these albums. My first album was Bad Guy Anyway, had 8 songs on it. And it was, it was meant to be listened to in order, like an album, like songs used to be, like artists used to do. And then I slowly realized recently that we just don't have the attention span, or most people, and I'm generalizing, of course, but most people don't have the attention span for that anymore. That era's over. It's more like single release, like one song at a time. And then maybe if you already have a following, you can release an album, but you're only releasing that album for the one single that's going to be the hit. But back then, 2020 or 21, I did that album and I did a Runaway State of Mind, which was a 5-song album or EP. And then I also did Midnight Therapy. But most of the people listening aren't even getting through the second song because they don't care. They don't have time for it. Some call it TikTok brain. Some call it shorter attention spans. But it's just not really working. And the cryptic writing that I love, like the poetry and the metaphor, is out too, kind of overall. Not everybody, Zach Bryan's doing a good job at being a good writer, but most people in the mainstream, they want you to just say it. Cut to the point. You don't have to be a poet. Just write the hook, almost like a nursery rhyme for kids. Something that could be sung so easily that after the first time you hear it, you know the words. Like Mary Had a Little Lamb. So that's kind of what's selling. Not all, but most. Again, I'm stereotyping. But what happened there is you have this emergence of ghostwriters, and they have these focus groups, and they are very sure about this. They do research, and they know what the algorithm is doing. They know what people are, reacting to as a whole. And like I said, it's not always good. What's always popular is not always good. We know that. With people like me who have talked to record labels before and people in the business, many times they always tell me the same thing, which is you don't have enough followers. And they go, the music is great. We love the music. It's just, we're not going to risk backing you because it's not a sure bet. And we have many other sure bets or more sure bets than you, which essentially means people who have more social media popularity are going to get the record deals. and the record deals are still going to suck. There's still going to be, we want 100% of all your songs. We want to own all your songs. We want all the publishing. We're going to pretty much own you, but you can be famous for whatever that means. As long as you tour and sell a ton of t-shirts, maybe you won't go hungry. But we're going to own you for quite a bit. Now, how do they blow an artist up like that? It's quite easy. Say you get famous, you're on TikTok, and you're a one-hit wonder, and your song blows up, and people are using it in their videos as they're driving their truck or doing gardening, or moms are packing lunches for their kids. They put your song in the background of a video, whatever, and you blow up. People do that a million times. You get contacted. They go, "Hey, we could really do something with you," and they put you on the label. They buy the songs from you. If you get even popular, if you get more popular, they give you a ghost written song that they have waiting on deck that Chat GPT wrote half of it or more. The song is pretty much formulated to be a success, but if that wasn't enough, the record label that bought you and your likeness and your name and your songs and your publishing rights will then use the radio stations that they also own to play your song to nauseum, over and over again, 10 times a day. And they will put that song on all the playlists on Apple Music and Spotify that they also own and curate so that your song earworms the entire population. They tell the disc jockeys to say, this is a brand new single from the next star, blank, blank. And it's probably something like Jared Dirt or Jared Johnson or Rusty Blake. Like, these are the names that they're doing. Cat Matthews is a little too out there, whatever. You get what I'm saying. And they do that, and then they open for somebody and they make them a star, and all the revenue goes to the record label, and they do that over and over again. And they're just waiting for the next person to blow up, and they could scarf them up and put them to work so they can make millions in their sleep. And that's kind of the industry today. So are they ever going to discover me? No, not unless this podcast blows up, or not unless I get 5 million followers overnight. And I accept that. But that's why I'm doing everything on my own. And it's not that bad. It's just nobody hears the music. Just like nobody hears this podcast, except for you loyal 30 out there. Won't forget you when I have 50 listeners in 2 years. That you can believe. But with all that being said, there is a taste in everybody's mouth that it's a little artificial and disingenuous, which is why, we all look back to a different time. And then granted, one more thing before I move on, the award shows like those CMA awards and all that, they own them too. They decide who wins those. They decide who they're letting come out into a showcase. That's all decided. And there are a lot of plants, a lot of these, if you really like, life got ruined for me. Like when I started looking into conspiracy theories or how the government works, it ruined so many things for me. I can't listen to music anymore. Everybody around me is like, we can't just enjoy the song. I'm like, no, I can't. Same with my recording tech and best friend, Matt, who records me. He's like that too. He can't just enjoy a song. He's listening to everything and picking up on the formulas and all that. And that's me. So when I'm watching these award shows, I'm like, well, of course they put them there. Like, of course that song comes out and they're giving it that airtime because they just invested in this person and they're going to put their investment out in the public and make sure everybody loves it. And then they're going to go home and listen to it. And then it's going to make them more money. It's all part of the plan. They're not going to put somebody they don't own all the rights to on that award show spot. Of course they're not. And just like everything got ruined for me with how the government works on it, you know what else got ruined for me? You could look up and see who wrote these songs, these hit songs. It's never the artist. Very rarely does anyone write their own songs anymore. That's why you got to give credit to those that do. I mean, Taylor Swift, I'm not a big fan, but at least she writes her stuff. Adele, big fan of her. A lot of other people, so Luke Combs writes some of his stuff, but most people are not writing anything. They're given the song, they're given everything. So that hurts a little. That hurts a little. It ruins it for you a little. But that era I was talking about that we're looking back to, I'm going to say, let's say 70s and 80s. That's like my favorite music. Those people, they didn't know what they were doing. They weren't doing anything for social media. They weren't saying, oh, this is going to look good for the brand. They weren't saying, oh, this is going to make me this much money and this will get me a label. They were just playing out, writing songs that were valuable to them about whatever they wanted, no formula, experimenting. letting the music come out, having some drinks, maybe smoking some pot, sitting in a garage, letting it happen. And that is, you could tell the genuine nature of those songs versus today. Um, Kind of postmodernism today, riding the coattails and piggybacking rather that era the best they can, but that era was totally superior because of they were just doing it. Nobody was watching. You know, they were dancing like no one was watching. They were writing music without this grandiose expectation of going viral or whatever that even meant. That's why you get like Bruce Springsteen singing about nothing. If you listen to the first two albums, he's singing about this lady selling fish and the spirit of the night driving a car around and blinded by the light talking about his little league baseball team. Like he was the best, in my opinion, songwriter because he wrote about things that were only valuable to him. He wasn't trying to appeal to this grandiose, fake vision we all have of life and what it's about. It was just, this means something to me. And here's a metaphor I wrote about it, and I'm going to write it down. And that was it. I'm going to make it into a song. And that was it. It didn't have to be, oh, is this under 3 minutes? Is this going to fit in with what's on the radio? It was none of that. And that era is gone. Um, So, as excited as I am about this new song that I'm doing tonight, I'm actually going to finish it up. It is very radio. It is very modern. It's very contemporary. I wanted to take a stab at seeing if I could infiltrate that earworm category. Do I think it's as genuine as some other songs I've written? No, don't. I think it's still very good. It's just, I think I was a lot more free when I wasn't as old as I am now and I was a little younger and COVID was going on and the world was stopped and I didn't have to worry about anything. I think we were a little more experimental with the music and I don't think we were as worried about fitting in with these algorithms and the radio. And for that, I'm very grateful that I wrote albums like Bad Guy Anyway and have songs like Women and Whiskey that would never fit on the radio, but were a genuine expression of a feeling that I had at the time, musically and lyrically. So that's cool. But we'll see what happens. But that era to close here was very interesting. That 70s and 80s era. If you were an artist in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you made out so well. Let me just explain real quick. Today, I put a song out. It's 2024, whatever. If you get 1 million streams, you make a little money in your direct deposit from streaming. So be it. Then you got to tour and maybe make some. If you have publishing rights or songwriting rights or whatever, you make a little money. But you know how they made money? They made money like 8 times over. So in the 70s, they sell vinyl, physical vinyl album. You buy it at the store. Then you like the music so much that when A track comes out, you buy the A track of the same album. Then cassette tape, you buy it again. You go, I got to have that album again because I have a new way of listening to it. Then CD comes out. You got to buy it on CD. The same album, granted, and all their albums. Because if it came out, the 60s, 70s, and even some of the 80s, you got to buy it as the technology changes. So now then iTunes comes out and you're like, I don't want CDs anymore. I'm going to download all these. Then now you have streaming. You got to pay for the streaming. And these artists made money off the same songs and the same albums 8 times in a row. They got the vinyl money, and they got the A track, and then the cassette money, and the CD money, and then the iTunes money, and now the streaming money. How crazy! I'll only ever see 4 pennies from some weird guy in Finland streaming my song 80 times. That's all I'm ever going to see. Never going to sell a physical means of listening to that song. Well, maybe CD, but who's listening to CD anymore? My truck still has a tape deck in it. I have a tape deck auxiliary cord. How weird is that? That I put an iPhone Type C dongle on and I plug my iPhone into a tape deck to listen to music in my 99 Ford Explorer. Think about that next time you think you got it rough. You think you got it bad. Shout out to Eric. But yeah, they were lucky. And to close, I'm going to talk about the spirit of luck. So with all that being said, I was just kind of negative, like, oh, it's so hard to make it, so hard to do. I love that it's so hard because if anything ever comes easy, it doesn't have as much meaning. You don't feel as accomplished. So for me, I go by this old saying, you may have heard it. Luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. I have done my part to prepare. If the opportunity ever strikes, and you never know when opportunity is going to strike. It's like back to the future. It's like a bolt of lightning. You never know when or where it's going to strike. But if you're not prepared, then you are going at life crazy. You always have to be prepared. You don't want to go out of the house without your business card. Who knows if you run into someone, you got your business card. Me, I don't want to get discovered and have no songs. I don't want to get discovered and not have a podcast ready to go. I don't want to get discovered and not have a catalog of artwork that I have, ready to go. So I've done all that. I've used my time and energy to do all that. And now you just wait and set yourself up so that maybe opportunity will strike. You put some episodes out, you keep releasing music, you go to the events, and you meet with other musicians and people. And that's how it works. You're not going to get struck by lightning sitting inside watching The View, are you? No. Go outside with a pole. Go outside with your big metal pole and wait to get struck. That's how you do it. And if you don't have that big metal pole, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So I consider all that I have done to build this brand as my metal pole. I'm out waiting in the field. Now, let me explain. Some people don't have a talent or they don't have these dreams, and then they're out there and accidentally lightning just strikes them. And current events are going to give you a good one. The Tuah girl. That girl just said something stupid drunk like we all do on one of those stupid interview channels that are 500 million people are doing that. They get their iPhone, they go out to random people and exploit their drunkenness and their youth, and they're, more likely to say something drunk and stupid. They exploit that. And this girl said Haktua in reference to spitting on a penis, is what I'm told. And look what happened. She's the most viral person on the internet. Was she ready? Did she have backup stuff? No, like she didn't really have a talent that I heard of. I think she wants to be a comedian now. They're offering her these deals. But can you imagine if she had like a podcast or some music? It would be insane. They say, oh my God, this is her and she's on Spotify. She would blow up and make $1 million. Now she's going to struggle and she's going to use her, month of fame, maybe if it's a month, to try to get maybe a podcast going or some comedy going until it burns out until the next thing. There's always the next thing. For now, it's the Haktua girl, and she's relevant for maybe, I don't know, 2 more weeks. Unless she does something, unless she uses that lightning strike to catapult her to the next thing. But there's been so many people like that. I don't even have to name them. Remember the Catch Me Outside girl? She used it to become a rapper, and now she has an OnlyFans, and she's like a millionaire just for saying something disrespectful on Dr. Phil. But that's what I mean. Opportunity, preparation. When those two meet, that's what luck is. That's what luck is. I'm waiting for my Haktua moment. And when it happens, there will be a list of things that people could find about me that's a little more interesting than the 2-second phrase I said. So that's what I'm betting on. I'm a gambler and I'm betting on me. I lose every time, but I'm still going to keep betting on me. What else can you do? What are you going to do? Bet on somebody else? Nah. So I'm prepared. I'm waiting. Like Dr. Seuss, I think he was about to kill himself because he couldn't get his book published. Then the one night he bumped into his roommate from college or his buddy from college, and he said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm a book publisher." And the next day he published his book. So you never give up. You never give up. That's my lesson. Never give up. Be prepared. Put the work in, even though there's no money and act like no one's watching, because no one is. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you until you're discovered, until you're popular by the masses. They don't care. They're not there for the journey, but they're totally there for the after party, the success party. That's the truth. So keep working like no one cares, because they don't. Even if there's no money now, there might be later, and money's not really that important anyways. Do it for you. You got a dream, chase it. This is a positive episode. This is not normal. Usually they're negative, but this is a positive one. And hopefully you get your Hawk Tua moment. And in the meantime, enjoy the crab cakes and enjoy a boiled hot dog, even if people tell you not to. So, with that being said, keep an eye out for the song that's coming out soon. I'll have more on that next episode. We're going to wrap this up for this week's episode and keep it moving. I have such a fun surprise for the next episode. I need more time to prepare for it. We're going to talk about some funny things, but I found something so great at a flea market, and I'm going to bring it on the show and show you next week. So get ready for that. If you want to guess what it is in the comments, feel free. But until then, stay curious, my friends. Have a good night and enjoy the crab cakes.